of the twins have the sickle cell trait.
Right.
That means that one of the parents has the trait.
One of the parents has to have sickle cell trait.
So either one of these two have it,
Right.
or
Babies not having a resemblance with their biological father are still getting ruled out as the baby's being for another man, not to mention when a baby has a medical condition that neither the mother nor the father has. That's enough to fuel any man's doubts that he isn't the biological father. But what will happen in Mr. Norris and Ms. Kelly's case? Let's find out.
Ms. Kelly, you're here today to prove to Mr. Norris that he fathered your 4-month-old twin daughters, Amira and Amia.
Yes,
Your hope is that after the DNA results are revealed, Mr. Norris will step up and help take care of his children. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kelly has no doubts about Mr. Norris being the father of her twin daughters, and she can't wait for the result to prove her right. On the other hand, Mr. Norris claims he's certain he is not the biological father to the twins, as he's on paternity court with genetic proof to support his claim.
Explain, why are you so desperately needing Mr. Norris to step up?
Well, because I have 3 children already, so before all of this happened, I let him know that I didn't want to be another single mom again. It's a lot taking care of 3 kids on my own. I don't have.
Ms. Kelly has a point about not wanting to have to deal with all of the stress of being a single parent to another set of children after already having 3 to cater for. But does Ms. Kelly know the way to go about that is by closing her legs or using protection and not allowing a man to dictate that? It doesn't seem she's aware of the other options.
They have not stepped up.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't want to become financially or emotionally involved because I'm not father.
Explain why.
We were not ever in a committed relationship, so
Well, it doesn't take that to make a baby. You
it
know
does.
that.
It doesn't take that. But when she told me that she was pregnant,
Mr. Norris doesn't want to be financially or emotionally involved, but not only did he have unprotected sex, he even tried to redeem himself because the first time was shabby. Well, the result for the self-redemption is here, Mr. Norris. Ms. Kelly, who is also talking about men never remembering. That's why you have to keep your legs closed, ma'am.
We met in high school. We were friends in high school. We probably didn't talk, but we met back up at a job and we got a number. We switched numbers. I called him. We were actually pretty cool to the point you would think we were together. But I didn't never say we were together because I really didn't do boyfriend things. I just was a single mom trying to take care of my baby.
Exactly, Judge Lauren. Having arrangements about going over to each other's houses and satisfying each other's sexual desires, but forgetting the major details that both of y'all are single parents with little to no support. Ms. Kelly really cannot blame Mr. Norris because she played a role in this. Mr. Norris also cannot try to run away after receiving the consequence of his actions.
Mr. Norris, what are your other doubts?
for one, we weren't in a committed relationship, so she didn't owe anything to be to be faithful necessarily. Like, she didn't owe that to me. Also, they don't look like me, for one. And I had a buddy of mine.
Mr. Norris's reasons for doubting seem a bit shaky. These aren't solid reasons. From Ms. Kelly not owing him loyalty to someone eavesdropping on a conversation about a first baby daddy, that's not concrete evidence. And again, Ms. Kelly says she never said anything like her first baby daddy owns the twin daughters. So there goes this particular Mr. Norris's doubts.
Today better than yesterday, but you know, everything's good, and thank you for checking up on me, but
and you're not there. Who wants to sit on top
what
of the
all
phone?
can I do, Your Honor? I'm not carrying the child. Only thing I can do is check up on you. I already told you, for one, I'm not sure 100%.
Mr. Norris and Ms. Kelly were about to be intimate enough to make babies, but all of a sudden can't stand themselves anymore because they got the result of their actions? Interesting. Anyway, Mr. Norris hearing the same story for the second time on different occasions can now be accepted as a reason to doubt paternity.
So stated that you had genetic evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of evidence do you have?
Do you mind if I show you?
I don't mind at all.
All right.
Please step forward.
These are the twins. They both have the sickle cell trait. The sickle cell trait can only be passed genetically, which means either the mother has to have it or the father.
Okay, this is a more solid reason for doubting paternity. Mr. Norris pulls us a family tree showing the twins having sickle cell traits, but neither him nor Ms. Kelly has the trait. To top it all off, Mr. Norris didn't find the trait in his family tree, and the same goes for Ms. Kelly's family tree. So how did this come to be?
Anyone in your family tree have the sickle cell trait?
No, not that I know of. I don't know how the sickle cell trait came in my babies and neither one of us have it. I was questioning it too.
There potentially is another father that does.
Yes. And the good part is that they have sickle cell trait. It's not the disease.
Ms. Kelly also agreed to the same thing Mr. Morris said about no one in her family tree having the sickle cell trait. The doctor also says one of the parents, existing relatives, or another potential father must have the sickle cell trait for the trait. So now it's time to find out whether there's another potential father or the research has been altered.
Kelly versus Norris. When it comes to 4-month-old twins, Amira and Amia Kelly, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Norris, you are their father.
Women love to switch the paternity of a child from one man to the other as they see fit until there's a DNA test result to prove them wrong. Sometimes, a man who's not the real father could have been to jail because of child support and the woman would act like it's nothing. That has got to stop, and that's why Mr. Brady is in paternity court to avoid future lawsuits and drama.
Ms. Sanders, you admit to having another man sign your 6-month-old son Caleb's birth certificate, but now say that Caleb's real biological father is the defendant, Mr. Jamarvis Brady.
Yes, Shauna.
Ms. Sanders is comfortably switching her baby daddies like it's a game of chess where she's trying to eliminate her enemy. Ms. Sanders says Mr. Brady is now her baby daddy, but Mr. Brady argues that's impossible and that would be proven to everyone in court today.
Ms. Sanders, what has Mr. Brady done exactly for baby Caleb since his birth?
He has not done anything, Your Honor. I had to get Caleb baby food. I had to get him diapers, clothes, everything, and that is not cheap.
Oh, that man has a point. Who gets carried away about being the real daddy or not because a baby is beautiful? Ms. Sanders, this ain't no damn beauty audition. It's real life. Ms. Sanders says she has been having to take care of the baby all on her own, and it's been hard.
Baby is yours.
The first thing is the green eyes. No one in my family has green eyes. May I show you, Your Honor?
Yes.
Starting with my grandparents, my grandma don't have green eyes, my granddaddy don't got green eyes, my mama or my daddy, her either, obviously.
Mr. Brady has been doing some research seeing how he knows there's no green eyes in his genetic pool. But there's Ms. Sanders that says her grandmother said the green eyes came from her father. That's convenient, but okay, Ms. Sanders.
Like through a friend who seen it on Facebook. And I popped up at the house. I ain't called, I ain't text, none of that. I just popped up. And when she finally came to the door, she said, Caleb don't need you in his life.
So you're saying she didn't even inform you that she was pregnant?
She told me in the beginning.
Ms. Sanders seemed to have pushed Mr. Brady away from the beginning, but she explained that's due to his inconsistency. Mr. Brady argues that's due to her ways of jumping from one man to the other. Ms. Sanders claims she went back to her ex, but Mr. Brady wasn't cool with that. So how come the ex is not the father?
Ask Mr. Brady for any help. Did you say to him, sir?
At the beginning I did, but he's so nonchalant about everything. It's not even a point to even talk to him. We don't have any communication.
I initially tried to take care of Caleb.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he has not.
When you say you initially tried,
To be fair, Ms. Sanders went through a lot with that baby, but why is she going back and forth about who the real daddy is anyway? Mr. Brady said he tried to be there, but Ms. Sanders didn't seem to want him around, but Ms. Sanders claimed that's a lie, as it was Mr. Brady that opted to be unavailable at that time.
why weren't you there?
Your Honor, when I tried to take care of him and all that, she told me she didn't need my help. And plus, why would I take care of a baby that's not possibly mine or is mine with green?
When I was pregnant, he never even cared. Only thing he cared about was some shoes. When I first told him that I was
Ow, Mr. Brady must love some shoes like that's his new baby. Hearing a woman you've been sleeping with is pregnant and still going ahead to ask for a shoe after initially going mute is as crazy as it sounds. Maybe Mr. Brady had an appointment that day and the shoes were an important part of his fit. Anyway, Mr. Brady contested that Ms. Sanders let another man sign the birth certificate.
Sure that the baby's mine, why would she let him sign the birth certificate instead of telling me out the dribble? Like,
I've been told him that I was pregnant, he never cared.
Let me see the birth certificate, sir. Yes, there is in fact another man's name listed on the birth certificate as father.
That story doesn't make so much sense, Ms. Sanders. Having another man sign the birth certificate because you don't want it to be empty sounds like a lie, but Ms. Sanders wants us to believe that, so okay. Mr. Brady pulled up the co-worker story again as he says Ms. Sanders was texting his co-worker. But lo and behold, Ms. Sanders says this man has never had a job. Oh.
Yes.
And what do you have to add? What exactly is your understanding of this situation or your belief? Do you believe Mr. Brady is your daughter's child's father?
I believe my daughter. I don't know Mr. Brady. This is my first time ever seeing him. Since Caleb's been born.
Ms. Sanders' mother believes her daughter wholeheartedly. Ms. Sanders' mother says she and her husband have been doing the father's job while Mr. Brady was unavailable. But Mr. Brady cuts in saying the baby daddy should be doing that and he isn't the baby daddy. Okay, let's see if that's true.
Brady, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Aunt.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there. Stand right where you're standing.
I told you, Aunt. I knew it wasn't mine. 100% positive.
Men constantly deny paternity like it's a cheesecake. Men can't be entirely blamed because men may cheat like it's their job to do so without any consequences. But women, on the other hand, well, let's say they mostly have to bear the consequences of cheating in an uncomfortable way.
Ms. McGee, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to your estranged husband, Mr. McGee, that he is in fact the father of your 4-year-old daughter, Serenity.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim your husband vanished 4 years ago.
Situations like this clearly highlight the severe consequences unresolved issues and mistrust can cause in a relationship. And if your relationship is currently hanging by a thread, feeling broken by betrayal, or weighed down by endless arguments, now is the exact time to act. That's why I always point people to Brad Browning's powerful program, Mend the Marriage. Brad provides proven, straightforward tools that have saved thousands of relationships, helping couples rebuild trust, restore emotional intimacy, and get their love back on track. Don't let your love story end in chaos and heartache like the McGees. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description below to start turning your relationship around today. Ms. McGee is tired of carrying the burden of two people all alone as her estranged husband, Mr. McGee, has decided to be an absent father to their 4-year-old. Mr. McGee says he has done nothing wrong because he got betrayed. Mr. McGee claimed to have wanted a family, but Ms. McGee destroyed his plans as she cheated on him, and he knows for sure that's not his child.
The last 4 years of my life with my daughter has been pure hell. I've had to pay for medical expenses for my daughter. My daughter was born with slight autism. That I had to struggle to take her to therapy sessions, everything.
Mr. McGee says he left and decided not to be a part of Ms. McGee and her daughter's lives because he believes the child isn't his, as he knows for sure Ms. McGee was messing around the time she conceived. Ms. McGee admits to messing around and even claimed she had told Mr. McGee about it, but she knows he's the father of the baby.
Out there, he was messing around too.
Your Honor, we were not together when she had
But that's neither here nor there. I know he's my child father and he needs to step up and help take care of her because I can't.
While Ms. McGee is standing firm on her claim that Mr. McGee fathered her child and he should step up, Mr. McGee is also not letting his thought of not being the father go. Mr. McGee even brings up a few of the things that make him strongly believe he's not the child's father. See genitalia pictures? Okay, there's supposed to be an explanation for that.
Supposed to think.
We both were committing adultery with each other. He was cheating on me, I was cheating on him. I told him it was a slight possibility he wasn't my child's father. I was honest with him, but that still don't change the fact even after I had her.
Oh, it was a 50-50 thing, but again, a man can get away with cheating as he doesn't have to carry a baby or even be suspected of paternity fraud. Mr. McGee Style went ahead to get married to Ms. McGee after knowing there's a possibility of another potential father, but Mr. McGee calls it love. Okay, Romeo. Ms. McGee doesn't care about any of these. She just wants Mr. McGee to step up and take care of his alleged daughter. Ms. McGee seems to be tired of doing it all by herself.
Claiming to be perfect in this situation. Yes, I cheated, but I didn't father a child.
Yes, you did.
So it's possible that Serenity is not mine. So dealing with that and from her own admission.
Wait a minute. Ms. McGee's mother snitched on her own daughter? Okay, that's another level of betrayal, and she is right about the paternity of the child. Mr. McGee admits to not being a perfect person either, but he's not the one being suspected of paternity fraud now, so his cheating allegation goes down the drain.
You think Mr. McGee is your grandchild's father?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
You don't?
No, my daughter was out there.
I was out there.
Don't believe Mr. McGee is your grandchild's biological father because
Mr. McGee acting like didn't have his own fault in this. Mr. McGee wants to tell the whole world Ms. McGee is a slut, but he married her. Mr. McGee is a joker. Ms. McGee's mother also said her daughter was everywhere, like she's not to be blamed for not training her properly and putting her on the right path. No one is sure if they are ganging up against Ms. McGee on this, but it's evident that she is all alone in this situation. Even her mother doesn't have her back.
I was honest with him. I slept with one person unprotected while me and him was together. Just one. And the other guy that I slept with, I used protection. I know he's my child's father.
Ms. Justice, who do you think is Serenity's biological father?
Mr. McGee is trying to act like he has the right to question Ms. McGee's current relationship after cheating the entire relationship and leaving her high and dry for the last 4 years. Ms. McGee's mother is also snitching on her daughter like it's some piece of cake. Whether she's right or wrong, this betrayal is really hard to deal with.
Intimate with him during the window of conception?
Once.
With protection or without?
Without.
Without.
So that's 2 guys now.
Jerome, I would like to meet this gentleman.
A 1% chance? Okay, that steers the boat away from the right course. There are about 3 men in the equation now who could be the potential father to the child. Mr. McGee and Ms. McGee are DeForest not trying to get back together, but this child needs her father. It's time to see who's right, Ms. McGee or Mr. McGee and Ms. McGee's mother.
In the case of McGee versus McGee, pertaining to 4-year-old Serenity McGee, and whether Mr. McGee or Mr. Coley is her biological father, it has been determined.
Marriages don't always last, as there are a couple of deal breakers that folks don't catch on to before tying the knot. However, some people realize these deal breakers after engagement and call the wedding off before it even goes too far. While that's still sad, it's still much preferable than a broken marriage.
Greenhouse, you summoned Mr. Thompson to court for a DNA test for your 7-month-old son, G.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim he has neglected his responsibilities as a father since you called off the wedding last month.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Greenhouse decided to call off the wedding a month before the ceremony for reasons best known to her, but still wants Mr. Thompson to be responsible for his child, like a father should be. Mr. Thompson says there was a break and Ms. Greenhouse had been intimate with another man, and that means there's no way he had fathered Ms. Greenhouse's child.
For knowing, I have a 4-year-old son by Gregory, and I also have a 7-month-old by Gregory. I called off the wedding because he's insecure and he's disrespectful, and I don't want to marry someone like that.
After 11 years, you just figured that out?
No, it's like, no, we were together for 11 years off and on.
Just like Judge Lauren mentioned, it took Ms. Greenhouse 11 years to figure out that Mr. Thompson is insecure and all of the other stuff. In Ms. Greenhouse's defense, they tried to work on it, but Mr. Thompson seemed to have been unable to let go of his bad habit.
Now you feel like G is not your child?
Out of 11 years, 8 of them, I was the one trying to keep this together when this always fell apart. Because
how? You're always accusing me of sleeping with somebody.
Her family, and all the rest.
You're not in a relationship with my family. You're in a relationship with me.
It's chaos in there. Ms. Greenhouse isn't cutting Mr. Thompson some slack at all. Mr. Thompson said he was the one that tried to keep it going, even though there were family members poking and Ms. Greenhouse even having multiple partners.
I went through your phone, I went through your Facebook.
2 weeks prior.
It ain't no 2 weeks.
She testified 2 weeks before, and you're questioning that time frame? If so, how?
Like I said, around that time, we wasn't together. We was seeing each other a little cordially here and there, but not really.
Yeah. Mr. Thompson may be insecure as he admitted to going through Ms. Greenhouse Facebook, but Ms. Greenhouse is in some kind of full rage. Ms. Greenhouse will get to even allow Mr. Thompson get 2 or 3 sentences out of his mouth without interrupting and yelling. Our ears are bleeding, ma'am.
It's back together. And she used to say it then, you only with me, or you only try to keep this together because of SJ, which is my first boy. And
that's a lie. That's a lie.
Man, look at here, like I said.
We was only together because of SJ?
Ms. Greenhouse's patience is out of the window, and her mouth is as fast as a car in a speed chase. Mr. Thompson claimed he tried to make it work so bad, and Ms. Greenhouse also claimed she tried to do the same, thinking Mr. Thompson would be the man she gets to spend the rest of her life with, but as it is right now, well...
And so you say her family has interfered. How?
When we in the dirt and we struggling, we come up on a little here and there, she giving money to her mom, and everybody else.
But when we in the dirt, my mom give me money.
Oh, finances can be a big problem in relationships or marriages. Mr. Thompson claimed Ms. Greenhouse was being a Santa Claus by giving her family money when they were in a tight financial position themselves, but you can't blame the woman. She's probably a family woman. Ms. Greenhouse cuts in saying Mr. Thompson did the exact same thing with his family, but Mr. Thompson's mother didn't let that slide as she claims that's not true.
Trying to understand is, if she admits to you that while we were off, I slept with someone and then you decide to get back together, you know this, right? This is not a surprise to you that she was with this other person, but you're saying that's what makes you have doubt.
Mrs. Greenhouse has a point, though. Mr. Thompson could have walked away a long time ago concerning his doubts, but guess he loves Ms. Greenhouse so much that he couldn't bring himself to leave her hanging that way. Mrs. Greenhouse claims Mr. Thompson was even actively involved in the entire process, and even the naming of the child.
I asked him did he want a DNA test, he told me no.
You're saying you did, in fact, help choose the name.
I did the whole...
Ms. Greenhouse has suggested she asked you about a DNA test and you declined.
Mr. Thompson didn't want a DNA test when Ms. Greenhouse herself even told him? Oh, to be in love. Mr. Thompson was so excited that he forgot another man could be the father. Anyway, what Mr. Thompson avoided knowing months ago is here now.
Versus Thompson when it comes to 7-month-old G. Thompson. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thompson, you are the father.
Even decades-old children don't know who their real daddy is sometimes. But what if there's a marriage and the chuka thinks they've been living with their real father for the longest time? Possible case of paternity fraud strikes again.
Mr. Jackson, you are suing the defendant because you claim that your 20-year marriage has been based on a complete fraud. Now, you state that it was not until 1 year into your marriage that Ms. Jackson told you that you may not be the biological father of James Jackson.
Mr. Jackson claims he's been stringed on for 2 decades, believing Ms. Jackson's son is also his son, but unfortunately, he's just getting to know he might not be the daddy. Mr. Jackson is also suing for emotional distress. However, Ms. Jackson agrees to stepping outside of their marriage, but she didn't force Mr. Jackson to marry her.
Your Honor, I think I've been tricked, Your Honor. She knew my past, and she knew that once she told me that she was pregnant, that I wanted a father in my son's life, like I didn't have a father in my life. So once she told me that, we got married in December.
Oh, Mr. Jackson knew all along. Mr. Jackson looks like he's been a good father to Ms. Jackson's son through the years. But how come Mr. Jackson says he was tricked since he admits to Ms. Jackson telling him about the possibility of another man being in the picture?
And he was not really tricked because he went down to Kentucky to visit me, okay? He lived in Georgia. He wanted to follow me to Kentucky.
And so, Mr. Jackson, did you follow her to Kentucky? Did you want to have a family?
And there it is. Ms. Jackson says, Mr. Jackson wasn't entirely tricked into the marriage. Mr. Jackson seemed to have fallen in love deeply, seeing how the narration of him going from state to state to visit Ms. Jackson back then. And again, Mr. Jackson did the entry's groundwork. Ms. Jackson didn't have to say anything that she was pregnant.
Your Honor, I think Mr. Jackson is the one that tricked me. He and I kind of started hanging out, being playful and all that. And then we went in the shower and one thing led to another.
Finally, a man that knows it only takes one time and 2 fertile parents to make a baby. Mrs. Jackson said Mr. Jackson did the tricking though. But oh yeah, we don't need to know about how the clothes were thrown to the corner of the room. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Jackson had unprotected sex at some point, and here we are.
So,
No,
actually,
Your Honor,
now
he
I
asked
never
me to
knew
get
that was
married.
somebody else that could have been the father. I just had doubts in the dates and time.
Let's talk about this doubt.
Okay,
When did the doubts begin to set in?
the only time that she could have got pregnant was those.
Mr. Jackson has always had doubts, but he's starting to put things together after decades, which is okay, but Ms. Jackson don't seem to agree with that fact. Mr. Jackson believes that it's only if Ms. Jackson was pregnant for over 10 months, Mr. Jackson IV could be possibly his.
Admit that there is a slight reason to doubt? What percentage do you?
80-20, Your Honor. It was just because
80-20?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
80% maybe the other guy kind of.
80% the other guy? And the husband is hearing this for the first time in over 2 decades? Nah, being drunk and partying at the beach don't cut it, Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson talking about using protection like she was even aware of what was happening in her surrounding during the act.
Say to you that this was not your son. Did she ever give you any indication? Did she say that?
As we drinking, again, Your Honor, she tells me in the hotel that I wasn't the father. I possibly could be the father one time, and it kind of messed me up to then.
So Mr. Jackson got the truth out of Ms. Jackson by getting her drunk. While that's wrong, Mr. Jackson got what he wanted, and it's safe to say his trick worked. But so did Ms. Jackson's trick work too, because he ended up marrying her either way.
Mr. Jackson, this is a lot to hear. Tell me your perspective. I mean, when you hear all of this is your dad. This is the man you've grown up with your whole life. Did you ever know that there was a doubt relating to your paternity?
Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson seemed to have brought up this young man the right way, seeing how he's been the best father anyone could ask for. Even Jackson IV couldn't deny that. Mr. Jackson gets emotional, and it's fair enough to say many folks would wish to have a father like Mr. Jackson. Ma Jackson has been honest, and her husband don't seem to hate her, but if the test comes back negative, that will cause an emotional distress on him for sure. Hopefully he's the biological father and he wouldn't even have to make up for any time lost because he's been there through and through.
When it comes to 19-year-old James Jackson IV, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Jackson, you are his father.